Hello and welcome back to another video. This video is a follow-up from last week's video when my Mercedes Sprinter broke down, and I'd like to start by saying thank you to everybody that left comments in last week's video offering me some amazing advice. I really do appreciate it. It's nice to know that some of you have got my back. Now, just a quick recap for those of you that didn't see last week's video. My van broke down and I had a warning light come up on my dashboard and it said brake force distribution, visit workshop, and every time this came up on my dashboard my van wouldn't restart. It didn't actually come to a grinding halt, it just wouldn't start when I pulled up for some diesel, and it did it a couple of times, so it's quite worrying. Now, the other problem I had was brake alternator visit workshop light, and this light has been coming up for the last probably 3 months, but I wasn't that concerned about it because I've got a voltmeter on my dashboard which was telling me I've got over 14 volts coming from my alternator, which was plenty. But it is a bit of a niggling problem, and I've been having some other warning lights come up now and again, and I thought maybe it's something to do with low voltage. But the main problem was this brake force distribution. Now, luckily, when I first got this van, I invested in this ICAR Soft scanner, and this pointed me in the direction of, if I can find it, my brake light switch. Now, somebody left a comment saying that my cheap ICAR Soft scanner would give me false readings and lead me up the garden path. Well, I can assure you this scanner was not cheap, and so far, touch wood, it's never led me up the garden path. It has always been absolutely 100% correct, and that is the case today as well. It was absolutely 100% correct in diagnosing this switch as being faulty. I shall demonstrate in a moment. Now, before I demonstrate how I use this to diagnose this as being a faulty component, I want to once again say thank you to everybody that commented, especially those among you that suggested I fit another earth lead from my engine to my chassis, hopefully eliminating this warning light coming up. I have actually fitted another earth lead, and I'll show you that later on in the video. Also, thanks to YouTube and some other YouTube videos, I learned something else about my Sprinter. It's quite a common fault that also can cause this to come up, and it's to do with the relays under the dashboard. Those relays go rusty and mouldy and manky, and I think the reason those relays go so bad is because of this. Take a look at my windscreen. Now, remember, I live in my van full time, so every morning in the winter this is what I'm faced with. A lot of condensation on my window. Now, I do hoover that condensation off with my Kärcher Window Vac, but not all of it. Some of it still remains along the bottom. I still get a bead that I can't quite get to. Because I don't drive my Sprinter on a daily basis, I'm kind of thinking a lot of that moisture ends up down behind my dashboard where all my electrics are. But again, I'll show you that in a moment. I'll show you where the relays are as well. And I'm going to take those relays out and give them a good thorough inspection and probably clean them as well, but I'll do that on a rainy day. I'll save that for another video. Okay, so let's get back to the brake switch. Now, once again, I'd like to thank everyone that took the time to comment in last week's video to tell me that this shaft is adjustable, and I shall demonstrate. There you go. Now, it's longer. Now, it's very important when you insert this into the holder, you make sure that this is pulled out all the way so that when the pedal touches it, it adjusts it to suit that particular vehicle, because this is a generic part and that it's used in a multitude of different Mercedes, but all the pedals are slightly different, so they made it so it's adjustable. Unfortunately, this wasn't the cause of the problem. The problem was actually the contacts inside that have gone bad. This is proved by using my ICarsoft. So let's get back to that, and I'll show you how I used my ICarsoft scanner to diagnose the problem with this switch, because quite a few people asked me to demonstrate how that scanner worked. So I'll do that right away, and I'll do it as quickly as I possibly can. Step 1, find your OBD port, and in the case of a Sprinter, it's under this cover underneath the dashboard. Simply turn that, remove the cover, and you'll see this black cover here that pops down, revealing your OBD port. Plug your scanner in, make sure you get it around the right way, which is that way. Like so. Then your scanner should burst into life. Next thing you do is go to the ignition key and turn it all the way round, but you don't start the engine, you just turn it all the way round until the ignition is on but the engine is off. That allows the scanner to read everything that's going on inside your vehicle. So we want to turn it all the way on like that. We don't want to start it, which on all the lights lit up. That's all you need to do, just leave it like that. So once the ignition is on, you can then begin your diagnostic process. Now the ICarsoft scanner has got the OBD, EOBD checker here, but also it's got diagnostics, and this is what sets it apart from the cheap ones. With the cheap ones you've only got this. With this one you've got the diagnostics as well. So we enter this, we simply press enter. And now you can see it gives us a selection of all different vehicles, and there are loads on here, but I'm not going to go through them all because we just want to go down to Sprinter here. Press enter, that's the version, the software. Now it gives us the different makes, or different models, sorry. My Sprinter's a 906, so we go down there, it's a diesel engine. We're not going to do a smart scan because that takes too long. We're going to do a manual scan because all I'm interested in is the electronic stability program, in other words the brakes. Go down to there, click on that. So here we're presented with module information, read fault codes, clear memory, or view data. We want to view the data because we want switches, which is right down the bottom there. Switch status and switches. There we go, communicating. So once we get into this menu, you can see we've got pressure sensor. This is the pressure of the brake fluid in the lines. Brake switch, parking brake switch, and stop lamp switch. Well, the brake switch and the stop lamp switch is all in this one because it's got 4 terminals in there, which means we've got 2 circuits. So now if I push my foot on the brake pedal, you will see the brake pedal is operated. The brake pedal is operated on both these circuits. When I did this test on this one, only the bottom one was changing. The top one just stayed unoperated. And that is how I diagnose this switch as being faulty, by this one not changing the same as this one. There you go, just do it one more time. You can see brake pedal is operated, brake pedal is operated, parking brake switch operated. That's because my handbrake is up. If I let my handbrake off once again, I've just changed hands, you can see it becomes not operated. So there you are, that's how I diagnosed my faulty brake light switch. I hope somebody finds this helpful. Now before we go any further, I'd just like to point out that this is not a sponsored video. I did actually purchase this myself. I made the investment, and boy am I glad I did. A really good investment. If you've got a Sprinter, I highly recommend getting one of these, and yes, I will put a link in the description of this video. And if you do buy one of these using my link, I do get a tiny little bit of commission, although this video is not sponsored. I just want to make that quite clear. Now, although my scanner proved without a shadow of a doubt that this brake light switch is actually faulty, there still could be another problem I've got, and that concerning this warning light and my engine not starting, and that is a couple of relays underneath my dashboard. But I'm not going to clean those relays today because I still need to go outside and change my alternator belt, just the belt and braces, pardon the pun. Right, I'll show you the relays, then I'll go outside and I'll fit this belt, and I'll also show you where my new earthing cable is. And then we'll see if my alternator visit workshop light actually goes out. This is the fuse holder here, but the relays are actually behind this panel here. Here we go, it's those there, the grey and yellow ones. There are 3 grey ones and 3 yellow ones, and I highly recommend taking those out, inspecting them and cleaning them, because they will stop your engine starting. They will also stop your indicators from working, your stereo from working, and cause you all sorts of problems. And just look where they are, and they are susceptible to getting damp, and they do go rusty. So here we are underneath the bonnet, and once again thank you to everyone that suggested I fit an extra earthing cable. I'll show you where I fitted that cable. Now I did use red cable, purely so that people could actually see where it goes, and I fitted that cable to the top of my alternator and to the side of the inner wing of my van. Take a look at this. I'm really pleased how it's worked out. So you can see that red cable on top of the alternator, that is actually screwed to the alternator using the mounting bolt. Then that cable runs all the way around, goes around here and up the side of my van there. And there was actually a little stubby thing there allowing me to attach the extra earth cable there as well. Now I was going to put it onto these ones here, but then I noticed that one down there, so that's where it ended up. So there you are, that is my extra earthing cable. I'm really pleased how it ended up. It can't get better than that, surely. It's directly to the top of the alternator and to my inner wing. There you go, there's my extra earth cable. Now all I've got to do is change my alternator belt, and it is tucked down way down in there somewhere, so I'm not going to film it because it's going to be stressful enough trying to get it out. I'll be right back. I'll let you know how I get on. Like I say, there's no way I can film changing that alternator belt. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. Well, I have to say I was quite pleasantly surprised how simple that was. Despite this belt being absolutely humongous, it was really rooted in such a way that I didn't have to take it over the fan. Does that make sense? Yeah, it actually went around the fan and come out quite simple. Luckily, I made a little diagram of the root of the belt when I changed my alternator. So yeah, really pleased I made this little diagram. But like I say, it was really simple, took about 10 minutes. The hardest part I think is going to be changing the actual tensioner pulley, because there is absolutely zero room for that. So I'm going to save that little job for the spring, because it is absolutely freezing at the moment. And I don't like laying on a cold floor, so I will change the tensioner pulley, all three of them, but I'll save that job for the spring. Right, let's jump inside and see if my alternator light goes out. God, what's going on? The temperature has dramatically dropped. It's absolutely freezing. My hands are froze. 2 degrees outside. Right, let's hope this starts. Let's give it 2. My funny noises. No warning lights just yet. I've got 14.4 volts. Now before I had 14.2, so fingers crossed that's the end of my problems. What a relief. Let's come back on. Oh my god, it hasn't worked. Well, that didn't work. Look at this. It's come back on again. Unbelievable. Why does that light keep coming on? So there you go. If you've got any suggestions of what I should try next, then please do leave them in the comments section of this video. Bearing in mind I've fitted a brand new alternator, I've fitted an extra earthing cable, and now I've fitted a new belt as well. And the battery in my van is quite new too. It's only about 2 years old. Could it be the battery? Could it be the fact that I've got leisure batteries connected up? I don't know. If I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. Maybe it is the relays. Next job. Get those relays out and get them cleaned. Apparently we've got snow on the way, so I'm going to go and get some diesel for my diesel heater. I'll see you next time. Ta-ra for now.